I think there's gonna probably be, like, if you're somebody who went in and watched them all, I'm sure they're gonna hear me say uh, things over and over, or maybe I'll say them in different ways or whatever. Um, that's probably part of my brain injury of not being able to remember if I talked about something already. So I could talk about it more than once, anyways. But in these shifting times right now, that all of the people who are going through experiences, this is a period of ascension. It's if you read the book of 1 and the um, raw transcriptions, then you talk about the harvest, the wanderers, the souls that are here to help the harvest, the ascension, us all moving into this this other reality. It's an acknowledgement of a soul of its own self, like say a spider going across the floor has no concept that it's a spider going across the floor. It's just moving and instinctually doing what it's doing. And it has an environment, and a closed environment, that it has no awareness that it is controlled by someone else. We could put blocks up around that spider and it wouldn't be able to go further. But what happens when the spider starts to realize that there's walls up here? There's somebody putting walls up. There's somebody creating an environment that is tricking me. When it starts having a realization of the other beings around it and what's going on outside of its own self. And that is what's happening right now for human beings. And that is what there is so much of this reality shifting and realizations and insights, because people are starting to have awareness that they are something more than what they thought they were. And I was talking to somebody this morning. He has so much interesting research that he's done, and about us being a food source for other beings. And I've heard this, from multiple other sources, but he has done a lot of research. It really triggered him. And when I was talking to him, I was trying to explain that, the same, to higher beings that are more advanced than us, we are cattle. And we can see right now, like when we're talking about one another, and what it seems that the others don't seem to understand, we keep referring to them as sheep, as cattle. And but we were all in that position at one time. It's not like that they it's only them. This is, if you're out of that, it's because you have grown, you've had realizations to move yourself out of it. But that is what is happening, is the awareness of self, and what that means in an empowerment, people are triggered to get more in touch with nature, get more in touch with themselves, to get off social media, to get out and live off the land, to have less, to minimize, to appreciate more. Everyone is getting these things about, growing our own food, moving outside of the cities, moving outside of the control of the controllers, to turn off the TV, stop being manipulated by this programming box that is telling us what it wants us to think. And the more that we break away from this controlled matrix paradigm that has been created by someone else, the more that we find our own sovereignty and our own sense of being. And the more that we focus on ourself and our personal growth, the more it moves us into a higher aspect of self where we can move up. If you're listening to your higher self and you are tuned in, you can merge. You know, you start making as if somebody from above you who can see the bigger picture is communicating with you, and you start listening. It starts putting you on a, sometimes you can be going on a path and it's like, oh my God, I got to go over this obstacle, that obstacle. Oh my gosh, why is this so hard? When you get on the path of the higher self designed path where they're directing you and you're tuned in and you're listening and you're following it, you're following the breadcrumbs, you're open to the possibilities, then it starts becoming like magic, and you're connecting to this higher aspect that has a broader view, and it shares insights with you. And it is and I believe that is part of what this ascension is. And it is realizing that you have more control over your environment than you are led to believe, that it isn't magic and all the things that they couldn't understand over time. You know, like back in the day, if a woman understood about nature and energy and power and herbs and all that, then she was likely to be called a witch, because other people didn't have the understanding, and, you know, being burned or drowned or whatever, tortured, these people would do. But now we've reached a point in our society where we're starting to realize, but there's so many people who think like aliens are these creatures that are out in space, and there's devils and demons and angels, and that Jesus and all that stuff, that is all very, very real. And I don't see it that way. I see it as we are all, not just the beings that we want to call aliens, we are all intradimensional beings. If you're incarnated in a lower level, whether you are a higher level being coming in to help bring in some type of understanding to help promote growth, then that is what you're doing. But you can come from those higher dimensions and go down to a lower dimension to help them move up. You can't go from a lower one into a higher one. You have to earn that. You have to work at that. You have to have the understanding. And right now we're moving, a lot of people call it like, oh, we're moving into 4D, 5D, the earth is splitting, we're going into another dimension, all of that stuff. There's so many different people seeing so many different things. I see it is it's an acknowledgement in our own self of it's like being in a dream and all of a sudden realize like, oh, I can control myself in this dream. That is what reality is like to me. It is realizing that you have some control over it. You can manifest things. You can see things the way you want them and stuff like that. And it's just empowering, and to realize that you have that power. You aren't just, you know, some accident of a big bang that somehow put these creatures that were able to form societies and, you know, come up with jobs and formulate families and language and became aware of their nakedness and how to be warm and all that stuff. It's all part of the evolution. And right now we're in this time that is moving us into a more what we would have considered unrealistic, unattainable. But we're starting to see this isn't a scientific accident. This isn't, this is a reality that when used stimulates growth on the soul level. And so when you come to these, there's lots of different ones, but we incarnate all over the place for different experiences. And so this ascension to me is more of a realization and realizing your own power and control. That is what, it's not an actual like load up your stuff in the U-Haul and move to another reality. It's a shift in your own reality. It's a shift in your own concept of reality. And this whole thing with the Matrix now falling apart. I mean, there was so many things that I understood about this universe that I had no idea what a controlled environment that we were living in. And once you see that, it changes everything. And you know, everybody's got to get through this part of this waking up and realizing, and however everybody's affected by the different things that are happening. But it is leading us to a really good place. It's leading us to a time of love and abundance, of enjoying life, of having the experience, being part of something, being a part of the planet, being a part of who we really are. It's super exciting times, and I think, you know, the best thing to do is just not get caught up in all of this drama. You know, you can be a part of whatever side you want to be a part of, but it has nothing to do with any of that stuff. So anyways, talk about stuff more later.